Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. Appreciate your tuning in. Why, look at this story. Unmarried couples living together increased 72% between 1990 and the year 2000. In 2000, almost 11 million Americans were cohabiting. The number of unmarried couples living together increased tenfold between 1960 and 2000. Goes on to say that not all these people who live together stayed together. In fact, there's almost a 50% chance of premarital cohabitation failing within 5 years, according to a new study by the CDC. Goes on to say that when faced with a divorce, most married couples get lawyers. Property disputes are resolved in court. But when couples live together and break up, rarely are the courts involved. So when the romance has faded, there are a lot of questions. Who gets the car? Who gets the cat? What about the apartment lease? How do you tell your friends and family? And then they go on to give you recommendations about what to do if you break up. The living together thing just doesn't make sense for most people. If you're not considering getting married, it doesn't make sense to live with somebody. It just doesn't. This idea that you can't get laid unless somebody is sleeping in the bed next to you and, in fact, owns the bed you're sleeping in. This idea that you can't get laid unless all your mail comes to the same mailbox or unless you've got a joint checking account. This idea that you can't get laid unless you've got pantyhose hanging in your shower or Tampax under your sink. It's ridiculous. Millions of American men get laid every day in this country without having the woman living at their place. And if you're not getting laid enough, then you need more chicks. You do not need to live with anybody. Now, I've said this on the air before, and I'm going to say it here right now. You know, in the 1960s, when this started happening, when people started living together in droves, in the 70s, when it accelerated, living together was called trial marriage. That's what it was called. We have a trial marriage. We've moved in together to see how things would work out. We're trying it. We're trying it. And nowadays, you have people moving in together. They know they're not going to stay together. They know it's not a forever thing. They have no idea if they're going to be together or not, and they don't care. There are plenty of advantages to not living with somebody. Among those, the ability to have sex with whomever you want, the ability to talk with whomever you want. You know, when that ex calls you on the telephone, guess what? You can talk to her. You can email anybody you want. You can hear from anybody. If some chick wants to send you naked pictures on your cell phone, no one's going to be looking over your shoulder. You want to go to websites and look at dirty pictures? Your time is yours. Your place is yours. If girls want to send you, a card for Valentine's Day or send you a gift in the mail, you have to hide that? You have to tell them not to write to you anymore? When you live alone, you can do whatever you want. And that means if you want to have sex with the same woman 7 nights a week, you can do that. Or not. You could take a night off once in a while. One thing about women you must understand is that very few women want sex every day. Many times they want to take a night off, or more than a night off. In fact, many times after a woman moves in, the sex starts to dry up. Every time I've moved in with somebody, I had buyer's remorse because I would be sitting there on nights when she doesn't want to have sex. I'm having my period. I don't want to mess up the sheets. I have a headache. Any number of reasons. I gained 5 pounds. I don't want to take my clothes off. Whatever. And I realized that in the days when I lived alone, if somebody said, I'm having my period, I'd say, fine, I'll call you back in a week, and then I'd call the next name on the list. There was no sitting around twiddling my thumbs, waiting for her to finish washing her hair, or waiting for her to finish, taking her Midol, or whatever. It was not my problem. It was not my problem. I'll bet many of you who've moved in have buyer's remorse. You're sitting there thinking about the days when you were free to do what you wanted to do. This idea that you have to compromise on things all the time. You got to compromise. Oh, yeah, you got to compromise. I have said on this program many times, and I'll say it here. The more you have to compromise, the more likely it is you pick the wrong person. And whether it be you like to sleep with the temperature at 68 degrees and she likes it at 88 degrees. Remember the chick like that? She wants to keep your house like a greenhouse. Keeps the temperature up. Don't open the window. Don't turn the AC on. Walks around freezing cold all the time. Complains that you like it too cold. That's just an example. She complains about the TV shows you watch. She complains about your friends. She complains about the fact that you smoke pot. Now, I'm not saying all of these are problems of any one individual. I'm just saying these are things that come up when you live with somebody. They start nitpicking your life. They start trying to do an extreme makeover. They start trying to change you. Change the clothes you're wearing. Change the time you go to bed. Change the friends you hang out with. Change the places you go on vacation. All to get laid. I mean, all you would have to do is juggle a few plates. My God, if you keep 3 or 4 plates spinning, you've got a chick every night of the week. You have the option of going home when you're done, having your space. If some chick comes into your life, like you happen to go to a party, I don't know, if you live here in L.A., what if you got lucky enough to go to the Playboy Mansion to a party? By the way, I'm speaking from experience. Here I am. I was married, and I get to go to a party at the Playboy Mansion. Now I'm meeting one hot chick after another. I'm thinking to myself, God, I'd love to take one of these chicks home, but I can't. What are you, crazy? And by the way, you can love somebody without paying half their rent. You can love them without buying them a car. You can love them without having to have them complain about doing your laundry, without having to complain that you like beef or they like chicken or whatever it is they complain about. I mean, it sounds great on paper to people sometimes, but when you get under the hood, when you get into the guts of it, it's not that great an idea for most people. The best time to move in with somebody is when you're seriously considering marrying them. Because then you need to know if you can stand to be around them 24/7. But to save on the rent, or because you're afraid you can't find anyone else, or to get laid, you don't have to live with somebody to get laid. You just don't. It's just laziness on your part. You're too lazy to spin a couple of plates. The benefits are enormous. The fact that you have your own domain and that you can do anything to it, you can decorate it the way you want to. You can get that big screen TV you want or have those big speakers if you want. You can own 7 cars if you want to and work on them. You can get anything in any color you like and not be criticized about it or given a hard time. Some nights you might want to stay out boozing or playing cards with the boys, or maybe you want to go out and get laid, and maybe you want to do a double or a triple shift one night. There's going to be nobody to tell you can't. All you pussies out there who move with these chicks and impregnate them and have babies with women you don't even know if you're going to be with in 5 years, stupid, stupid, stupid. As I have said, there are very few benefits to a man to get married nowadays. And frankly, there are very few benefits to living with a woman that you can't get without living with her. My God, when she's got your key and she's got the passcode to your answering machine or your voicemail, and there you are sharing everything. Think about that. Is that what you really, really want? 1-800-5800.
You're such an orgy pimp. I love your style, you know. What you teach is like how I live, you know. That's my lifestyle, thank God.
The Tom Leykis Show. Johnny, hello.
Oh, Tom, you hit the nail right on the head today, buddy.
Do tell.
You couldn't be more correct. First of all, the reason I like you so much is because my ex hates you so much.
That's how you know I'm doing it right, pal.
It's a beautiful thing. Started out a while back. I was married for 7 years. Bad marriage. Listened to you for 3 months. 3 months later, I'm getting divorced. Jumped from the frying pan right into the fire. I got with this other gal for 4.5 years. About 4 months ago, we split up. I got hot rods. I got ski boats. I got a house right on the lake. She calls me up all the time, wants to come over, wants to do this, that, or the other. Kicked her to the curb, said, you know what, you had your chance. We're done. Get out of here. She wants to come over and stay and all this, and I'm just going like, you know what? DTB, and I made it stick. And thanks to you, I love you, and she hates you. Take me out with a tribal and a running feet.
Here you go, Johnny. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. I know there must be women just squirming out there hearing me saying this. I notice none of them have called in. All the callers are guys. That's a woman's worst nightmare, that the man she got to move in with her would hear what I'm saying and want to get out. 1-800-5800-866. Sergio on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hello, Dad.
Hi, son.
How are you? And yes, I care.
Doing great.
Awesome. I got a story for you. I was 20 years old, dating this girl that I met at junior college. She gets kicked out of her house. She was going to go move in with some friends, but she's like, oh, well, why don't I just move in with you? And me being young and stupid, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. It was awful. When we were at school, she was there. When I was at home, she was there. I couldn't sit on the pot without her wanting to talk to me through the door. Suffice it to say, after about 2 months, I told her she had to leave, either move back home or figure something else out. I am 30 now. I've never lived with another woman since, never been married, no kids. And I got to tell you, I started listening to you about a year ago. Love the advice. Everything, I don't agree with everything you say, but everything you say is 100% dead on accurate. So I really appreciate having you there every afternoon. I bought a transistor radio that I can bring to school with me so that I can keep listening to you when I'm in class.
I love that.
And I got my tickets for Boys Night Out just the other day.
Excellent.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait. And if you could take me out, Kobe, I'd appreciate it.
Here you go, Sergio.
This is about us. She's so special to me. You're a beat to my heart. You're the air I breathe. She's so special to me.
1-800-5800-TOM. Dylan on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom Leykis.
How you doing, Dylan?
Hey, I'm a true Tom Leykis fan, man. If I always got to see you, I'll shake your hand. But, hey, I wanted to tell you something, man. There's this girl that she was falling in love with me, and I started falling in love with her. And I've been listening to you for a long time. But, you know, I started thinking to myself, you know, I have so many friends that are married and have kids, and they end up getting divorced and end up paying child support. And, you know, I'm scared of that, so I decided to, you know what, I'm not in love with you, and I can't get married with you. And I decided to, like, just leave her and just go out and have fun while I'm 24, so...
Good for you.
I'm a true believer.
I am so proud. I'm so glad you did that.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, honestly, there's a lot.
By the way, did she flip out when you told her that?
She got real mad. She got real mad, and she ended up, you know, going with my best friend.
Yeah, well, good. You know what? He deserves to get that.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get what is coming to him anyway.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't mind if someone else drives my old Lexus. You know what I'm saying? I drove it when it had a new car smell.
Oh man, I've been listening to it since I guess for about a year, and I think you're the best. And I think all those girls that call and bash you out because you're telling the truth. I think, man, they're just jealous because they know that you're telling the truth and you're telling us what to do, man.
That is exactly right, Dylan. Thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Martin on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing?
All right, Martin.
First time caller, love your show. I just got a comment on what you were saying earlier. I was on the 10 and totally hit home. I was involved with the girl for 5.5 years. Did the boneheaded thing. We bought a house together, planned to get married, and she decided she didn't want to get married. And she got an attorney, and she started basically giving me a lot of stuff about me. Where you say that women try to change us guys and start critiquing us, and we start to sometimes believe it. And basically, I got fed up with it and paid her $75,000 to get out of my life.
You paid her?
Yeah, I bought her out of the house. We bought the house together. And like I said, she got an attorney. She wanted to basically clean me out. But I did some things to outmaneuver her as far as all the personal property that was mine. But of course, because we bought the house together, she was entitled to half. She got about $10,000 more than she should have because she claimed to her attorney that she put the money down with me, which I didn't want to go through the long legal drama. So long story short, paid her $75,000. And she started living with a new guy while we were splitting up. She was seeing him beforehand, as I found out. And it was funny because I was kind of down on myself, started working out. Women started paying attention to me again, and such as got my ego back. And then I saw her probably about 3 weeks ago, Small World up in Paso Robles for a wine festival. She was some fat dude, and just told her made me feel good. It was a new hot chick and such, and I said, might have cost me a lot of money, but she's out of my life. I'm never going to make that mistake again. And it's like you said, you keep four on a plate, and that's what I'm doing.
That's what you do, and that way you get laid every night. And then when they bitch about having to have sex with you, you just move on to the next one.
Exactly.
And nobody spying on you, nobody keeping tabs on you, and life is so much easier. I don't know why guys are so anxious to move in. I don't understand it.
Yeah, bad mistake, and I can tell you what, for the rest of the male listeners, that's a costly mistake, $75,000. But you know what? I'm a hell of a lot happier, and lesson learned. If you could take me out as Kobe, that'd be great.
Here you go, Martin.
This is about us. She's so special to me. Yeah, it beats in my heart. Yeah, the air I breathe. She's so special to me.
1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Chuck on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How's it going, Tom?
All right, Chuck.
Long-time listener, quite the fan.
Thank you.
Got a doozy for you. Probably quite a few years ago. I'm going to say almost 6-7 years ago. Had the experience of living with a girl.
Yeah.
Thought it was going to be all good, and this is where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. And this girl was, she was quite the little hitter every now and then when you get her riled up. And she liked to smack on you when you got her pissed off.
Right.
And I was raised not to strike women, and I still firmly believe not to do that. I believe to turn tail and run if that's the case. And what happened was, we're talking post OJ days, and what happened was I was living with her in a little house. Things were going okay, and I should say they weren't really going too well. I was plotting on leaving her, wasn't really kind of working toward the direction I wanted it to go, and so due to the laws of this great state of California, a girl could at any given time call up and say a man has hit her, and they will arrest and ask questions later. That's what happened. I was promptly knocked on the door and asked who I was and told them, and police then took me away for spousal abuse.
Oh boy!
I have no priors in this at all, and basically I was hauled off to the clinker, put up on bail. My father bailed me out, and of course, they were
I was issued a temporary restraining order from my own residence. I owned most of the furniture and belongings in that house. So what she did was I had a hard time believing it that she put this together as well as it went down, but she cleaned me out. She took everything I owned. She pawned my drum set. I played drums. She pawned that, rented a U-Haul, had anybody and everybody, gave my tools away to help load up everything that I had, moved it out into a storage unit, and 7 days later when I was legally able to go back to the house, I tried to get a police escort to go back, but they were too busy for such a small detailed thing. So what I did was I drove by the house, and I saw that there wasn't anybody there, and went ahead and went in, and she cleaned me out. Took everything I owned, things I could never replace, drums, stereos, stuff like that I could replace, but some of the stuff that I had I could never put back together again. And basically I had to hire an attorney, which put me another $2,800 in debt, not to mention the $1,000 in debt I was already in borrowing from my father to get bailed out, because at the time I didn't make that great of money. And she basically lied in court on a restraining order hearing saying she didn't have any of my property. There wasn't anything I could do to prove that she had any of my property because I cohabitated with her. And in this great state of California, as long as you cohabitate with somebody, unless you have receipts for every last thing that you claim she took, you have no ground to stand on.
Yep.
And she took it all and left me probably in a worse situation as if I was even married to her. If I would have been married to her, I would have had a lot more ground to stand on. But she kept it all, never saw her again. I ended up getting the case dropped. She ended up having a little yard sale, which I caught wind of. So I scrounged up the money that I had at the time and hired a private investigator. I had the investigator take pictures of her selling my property, taking pictures of people loading it up in their vehicles, and even bought a couple of items that had my name on them. I tried to get the DA to push charges on her for putting herself and saying she didn't have anything to the judge in the restraining order hearing, but because the California has so many fish to fry, they didn't see fit to really push this issue. So basically I had to take it and bite my tongue and keep my distance, and I got what's called a conditional, and the state of California doesn't drop spousal abuse cases right off the bat. What they do is they give you 6 months, wait for you to screw up again, which most guys who whack on women usually do again anyway. And, after that 6 months, I was let go, and I was dropped all charges. It took me a couple of years to make up the payments to the attorney and, build my life back up again. And all is good now. I have to say I'm happily married, and I make probably 5 times the amount of money that I did at the time. And, I'm not going to knock the sanctity of marriage. It has its good, bad points, but the cohabitating with women and living with women in the state of California, my advice to all the boys out there listening is to really consider your situation, and if you got receipts for anything you own, you better keep them tight and close.
Well, Chuck, I think you learned the hard way, and I hope guys heard what you had to say.
Tom, oh yeah, Leykis. Tom, Leykis.
I wouldn't know how to give dating tips to date your aunt or your cousin.
Good, because I don't need any.
Good place to cruise for Poon, the next family reunion.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM, that's our telephone number. Let's say hello here to Mike on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, what's up, Tom?
Not much, Mike.
Hey, all right, I got a story for you. I've been listening to you since I was like a freshman, dude. And I've listened to everything you said. I've never moved in with the girl and all that. And when I was my senior year, like the best year ever, man, I had 4 girls, right? All at the same time. And they all knew about each other, dude, and they're all cool with it. It was the best thing ever, man.
I love that. See, that's the way to go.
And it was cool. I was just like...
And then when one is tied up or one doesn't want to do you, then you go to one of the others.
Exactly. And it was cool because I was just like honest with them. Like when I first started talking to them, and they were trying to get all close, I was like, you know what? I don't want a girlfriend. I don't want to get tied down and get stuck with just one person. I was like, if you could be cool with just messing around and not like carrying whatever else I do, just go for it. And they're all cool with it, so I liked it.
Love that, Mike. Glad to hear that. I'm proud. Julie on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Okay.
I've been listening to you for about 8 months, and I have a question. I agree with probably 95% of what you say. I was in a relationship that over 20 years that was totally controlling and just, it was horrible. I want to know, can women have the same life that men do? You know, can they, I mean, I want to be like that one guy on the phone. I want to have 5 guys that I have fun with and sleep with and not be tied down, but the guys don't want that. I mean, well, the guys I find don't want that. You know, maybe the problem is that, you know, I'm too old. You know, you said if you're over 45, you're done. 40, I think you said, you're done. So, you know, what does a girl like me do? Woman like me do?
Well, do younger guys.
Okay, well, the guy I'm with right now is about 9 years younger than me.
You can go even younger than that, dear.
But they get so serious. You know, what do you do with that?
Yeah, but the younger they are, the less likely it is they're going to get serious with you. The more likely it is they're just looking for easy access.
Okay, but the trouble is then, if you go younger, you're right. I mean, no young guy wants to be with a, 45-year-old woman.
Right.
So
that's how you do it. So you get a young guy, you get the benefits of having a young guy, and none of the strings.
So you think that, I go younger than 30?
Yeah. Yeah, because 40, you could feasibly have a relationship with a guy who's 40, but not a guy who's 25.
Okay. So I need to go younger.
Do you have kids?
They're all old and grown.
How old are they? Yeah, they're probably about 25, right?
I know. Yeah. I got hit on by a guy that was 25. It was just too creepy. But 30 maybe I could go with.
Come on, I'll bet your son. You have a son? I'll bet your son has friends you've looked at.
I have 3 sons, and yes, it's kind of tough. It is kind of tough.
But I bet you've had an eye on at least one guy who's a friend of your son.
Okay, so yeah.
And you had some hot moments sitting by yourself thinking about that.
Well, okay, yeah.
All right.
Hey, I didn't act on it because that's my son's friend.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, the point is, you've had impure thoughts about younger men.
Okay, so I mean, it's okay. Just go after it, right?
Go after it.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, these guys are not looking to be with a 48-year-old woman. They're looking for easy access. You're just looking to get laid. It's a perfect combination.
I totally like sex. See, my ex didn't, and it was horrible. It was horrible. I like it. I enjoy it. Yes. So I don't like not having it.
Yes.
So this guy I'm with right now, I mean, that's a really good thing. But he wants to get serious. He wants to move in. He wants to. And it scares me, and I don't want to be one of those women that, end up nagging and, being a, that's not right.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You're not going young enough.
Okay, so go younger.
Go way younger.
Oh, that's scary. All right.
I'm telling you, you'll be amazed how many 25-year-olds are having a hard time getting laid because the 23-year-olds, 22-year-olds, whatever, are with 30-year-olds.
Okay.
Guys who have established careers and whatever. So some of these guys just floating around out there. And believe me, they're just looking for easy sex.
Okay. All right. Well, then maybe I could get like 3 or 4 or 5 on the hook, and then
you could do that.
See? Okay. Then it is good for both, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm no hypocrite about this.
Okay. All right.
People who are close to your own age sometimes just get into that head where they want a relationship.
Well, that and the ones that are my age, I'm sorry, they're just too old. They've given up living. At least the ones I've met. They don't want to have fun. They don't want to do anything.
Right. They want to, quote unquote, settle down, which means they want to settle down like into a coffin is what they want to do. No. Life's too short. I don't want to, no. Did that, been there, done that. Right.
Time to party. So.
That's right. Okay,
so thanks, Tom. And I seriously, I mean that. think that your advice is right on. I've been listening for, like I said, about 8-9 months. I try to, explore what else is out there, and you really have a good handle on what guys are and what guys like and what they, and that's really important, and it's good to know that because, I've never been hypocritical. I mean, guys like to look. Guys like to do that. I mean, why stop them? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they certainly don't like being nagged. Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Shauna, hello.
Hello?
Is that a question or a statement?
It's neither one. I do have a question for you. I'd like to know what exactly in your life has happened to you that you are so down on women and the advice that you give to young men.
I'm not down on women at all. There's no better place to deposit sperm. It's the best place you could possibly want to do it.
You talk about women like we are nothing but crap.
Oh, no. Hard.
You act like men should go out and do nothing but use women. And I don't feel that a man should use a woman and a woman should ever use a man.
Well, women do anyway. So it's dog-eat-dog out there. You have to fight fire with fire.
What has happened in your life that you feel this way? I feel sorry.
Dear, it's the way men feel.
Tom, I feel sorry for you.
Well, why is that?
You need to go see someone.
Well, first of all, I am in therapy, dear, and I have been for 5 years.
You need to be in therapy.
But that's not why I'm in therapy, darling, and I'm telling you that this is how most men feel.
I think you're absolutely wrong. You must be talking to a 10%. I have barely started listening to your show, and
you think men are going to tell you we feel this way?
Sorry for you.
Besides, darling, at your age, very few men would feel this way about you. So of course you have a skewed idea.
You are my age. Well, I'm 56. I have no problem saying that.
I know. Well, we know you're 56.
A joke.
Well, you really think so? Amazingly, men don't think so. We're number one with men. Number one.
The only men that wouldn't think so are men that are listening to you that have a problem. There's no way.
There. We are the number one show among men. Number one.
You're the number one joke because you're a joke to listen to.
Well, again, that's what you think.
I'm sorry for you.
You're not in the target demographic of the show. But the men who are the target demographic take us very seriously.
I truly feel sorry for you and the young men that listen to you and take your advice and think
it works.
Are their daddy.
You understand that the advice works. That's why they call me Dad.
It's sad. It truly is.
Why do you say it's sad, darling?
It's because you don't. I would never think of a man that way, and I would not want a man to think of me that way.
But, dear, very few men do think of you that way. Don't worry about it.
And I'm so glad. But you think that you would be wanting to give young men out there a better advice.
I'm giving them the advice they need and want.
I feel sorry for this world, and I guess I'm glad I'm out in the next 20 to 30 years.
Hang on a second here, Shauna. Tony, what did you want to say to Shauna?
Hey, Shauna, do you have a daughter or a granddaughter or a niece?
No, I raised a son.
Or do you have any nieces?
I raised a son.
Do you have any nieces?
No, I do not.
Okay,
we're all boys in this family. We raised boys, and we raised them not to treat women bad.
Okay, hold on. When your sons were young, did they used to bring girls over for dinner and family reunions and stuff?
Of course.
Well, those girls were not, your sons were not the only guys that those girls were having sex with. All the young girls today are having sex with a lot of different guys. So that's what you need to realize. It's not the way it was when you were young.
There's no doubt about that. Shauna, Tony, thank you for the call.
The Tom Leykis Show.